We cannot look away in the face of these tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent.
I hope that Kamala Harris is sharp enough to understand what's going on in the Middle East.
People suffer a lot from this war. Nobody wanted this, but it is necessary.
Israelis expressed unhappiness after the US Vice President Kamala Harris publicly highlighted the crisis in Gaza and said that the war needs to end.
I think that the meeting is important. I think it's important that Kamala Harris met our Prime Minister. It's a positive thing. It's obvious that we all want to end the war. We don't want this war from the first day. We are against it. It's a war that was put upon us. I hope that Kamala Harris is sharp enough to understand what's going on in the Middle East, because Biden was sharp enough, although he's old and everything, but he's sharp enough. Trump is sharp enough, and I hope Kamala Harris, with her moderate statements, will not abolish this the chance to bring a treaty and the end of the war.
What I see here in this country is that people suffer a lot from this war. Nobody wanted this, but it is necessary. It's a fact that we as Dutch people living here, we are confronted with the same problem and with the same stress. So, talking about the war, you can say the war has to end, the war has to stop, but it doesn't remove the problem why this war started. So also as a foreigner living in this country, we woke up in the morning when 1,200 people were killed, okay? Brutally killed in the most terrible way. I've been seeing every video, every photo that was put on Telegram and censored. These were videos. I was like a member of, I looked at the channels of Hamas and Hezbollah. So I've seen what they put there. What they put there is their victories. So this has to end, this problem. So you can say end the war. No. End this brutal killing and end those who are responsible for it.
This is what Kamala Harris had said in her speech.
So I just had a frank and constructive meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu. I told him that I will always ensure that Israel is able to defend itself, including from Iran and Iran-backed militias such as Hamas and Hezbollah. From when I was a young girl, collecting funds to plant trees for Israel, to my time in the United States Senate and now at the White House, I have had an unwavering commitment to the existence of the State of Israel, to its security, and to the people of Israel. I've said it many times, but it bears repeating. Israel has a right to defend itself. I also expressed with the Prime Minister my serious concern about the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians. And I made clear my serious concern about the dire humanitarian situation there, with over 2 million people facing high levels of food insecurity, and 500,000 people facing catastrophic levels of acute food insecurity. We cannot look away in the face of these tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent. Thanks to the leadership of our President, Joe Biden, there is a deal on the table for a ceasefire and a hostage deal. The first phase of the deal would bring about a full ceasefire, including a withdrawal of the Israeli military from population centers in Gaza. In the second phase, the Israeli military would withdraw from Gaza entirely, and it would lead to a permanent end to the hostilities. It is time for this war to end, and end in a way where Israel is secure, all the hostages are released, the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can exercise their right to freedom, dignity, and self-determination. There has been hopeful movement in the talks to secure an agreement on this deal. And as I just told Prime Minister Netanyahu, it is time to get this deal done. And I know right now it is hard to conceive of that prospect, but a two-state solution is the only path that ensures Israel remains a secure Jewish and democratic state, and one that ensures Palestinians can finally realize the freedom, security, and prosperity that they rightly deserve. It is important for the American people to remember the war in Gaza is not a binary issue. However, too often the conversation is binary, when the reality is anything but. So I ask my fellow Americans to help encourage efforts to acknowledge the complexity, the nuance, and the history of the region. I thank you.